Hey everyone, it's Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Each week we review the biggest Netflix original movies with special guests ranging from film professionals to comedians to podcasters like Johnny Ganache from the legendary Pint. Listen and subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at NomcastPod.
Hey there, this is John from Pint.
And I'm Lloyd, also from Pint.
And I'm the other John, and you get it by now. As you may know, we sometimes use language on this show that can be described as...
Filthy.
Okay.
Reprehensible?
Crude?
Sure.
Nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys. We all know that it's just plain out gutter talk.
You've been warned. Listen in. Excitable, aren't you?
It is excitable. I am excitable. Everybody's... Oh,
That is excitable.
I farted too. Cracked open my beer, fart, whatever. It's Pint. We're
Whatever
back.
it takes.
We're back. It's Lloyd, the Manster,
Hey.
Sir John,
Hey.
John,
What do you want me to do here?
John E. Ganache, and our buddy Lou Skywalker is sitting in with us tonight. Lou,
Hi.
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 Lou-
I was just enjoying ginger and cinnamon coffee
Yeah.
with almond milk.
My wife only
awesome.
has the most disgusting shit in the house.
I don't
for
taste the
herself.
ginger. I don't.
I didn't taste anything other than just shitty black
There's a
coffee.
little bit of cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
But honestly, any hardcore coffee drinker will tell you when you're tired and you need coffee, it don't matter.
Oh, I don't
There's
know.
I
about that.
pounded that.
You know, blueberry coffee is the worst.
Yeah,
Don't.
blueberry.
I mean,
That
like,
is horrible.
but like if you need it, if your body's craving it, like caffeine, it don't matter.
You know, when I was
Just
young,
hammer it and hate yourself later.
you know, I obviously we don't talk a lot about work here, but I work retail, and when I've been working retail for 25 years. When I started, I realized that a lot of the guys that were in my job at that time. Now, granted, I didn't plan on doing it for the fucking my life, but I realized they were addicted to coffee, and I said I'm not going to drink coffee on purpose, and that's why I'm not a coffee drinker, because I would see these fucking crackheads. That
And
would,
now you look down on, like, what the hell's wrong with you?
I don't look
drink
down.
coffee.
No, I don't look down on it. I
No,
occasionally.
like, they look down on you for not drinking it.
No, fuck them. They're all, their kidneys are all fucking honeycombed out and dried out, and like I'm talking about the guy. Like two of the guys I work for in particular, when I was just like a $5 an hour peon in the early '90s, they'd send me to like, oh, here's how old it was, by the way, Best Eaten Donuts.
Oh, yeah.
They'd send me to Best Eaten Donuts
Best
like
Eaten.
4 fucking times a day.
Get that lovely styrofoam.
Yeah.
cup.
One of those
Best
was Wilder.
No,
No, because Wilder always had giant coffees.
No, Wilder always had giant iced coffees.
Well, yeah, I mean, same thing.
Well, I'm talking about just fucking black coffee and a large light and sweet. That's how I learned what light and sweet was. One of my bosses was obsessed with light and sweet coffee.
Then why drink coffee?
That's how. If I drink coffee, that's how I have to drink it.
Amen.
That's a pussy way to drink coffee.
It really is.
All
Amen.
you people that
Just
are
gotta
drinking
go
light
black.
and sweet, you're a pussy. All right.
Oh, there goes some subscribers.
Okay, all right.
got-
There they went.
Three black coffee drinkers here, right?
Yeah, black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
the
throw
best
some
way.
sugar in there, because Dunkin' Donuts coffee is so awful.
Oh, that's
you have
terrible.
to have sugar
Yeah.
in there. So
So do you prefer I know that these aren't the only two options. I know in Middletown we have the great Clay Colo.
Yeah.
Where we do the WESU show, and a friend of ours owns it. But so when you're going to go for the fast food of coffee,
Yeah.
do you prefer Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Really, Lloyd?
I'd rather have McDonald's coffee.
Really?
Honestly, yeah, they do have much better coffee, but the problem with McDonald's, it's wildly inconsistent from place to place.
It can be, yeah. It can be very hot, too.
with
Too
that-
hot to even drink.
Extremely hot.
Yeah.
Right.
Last Monday, I had to swing by and grab some fast food on my way to the game night, and I asked for a coffee instead of a cold drink.
Yeah.
And that damn thing was so hot, I couldn't even put it between my legs to drive.
So wait, you got? I always find this fascinating. So you got a cheeseburger or something and drank a coffee with it?
Yeah.
that you're an old guy. That's an old guy.
I wanted coffee.
Well, then I'm an old guy too.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'll do it. I
So
don't care.
you like get yourself a nice like. Well, I know you're a vegetarian, but let's just forget that for the sake of it. Like, you know what? I'd like a nice hot roast beef sandwich and a Sanka.
Why
Not
not?
a Sanka.
Not a
Sanka's
Sanka,
Sanka's
but-
awful.
Yeah,
Have you ever
no.
had Sanka?
No.
It's instant coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just watching something yesterday
It's
on
the
TV.
hot chocolate of coffee.
The guy ordered a Sanka in a diner.
He ordered a Sanka.
Yeah, I'll have a Sanka.
So
I
look,
looked like,
see
do they
that.
still have Sanka?
Do you remember they used to put it in the
Uh-huh.
tea section? You'd have a Sanka, you know, and see
Comes in the jar and you spoon it in.
One of them, well, one of them would be so old, that old wimpy looking Sanka packet.
Did Sanka have the orange top, or is that decaf?
Yeah, that's
well,
it, yeah.
The
That's
green
Sanka.
one, the green one was decaf.
Yeah, it was actually
Okay.
sponsored by like Matlock.
Yes, yeah.
Who was the guy that used to do Sanka? Yeah, it was some old guy, some old actor. He'd come out and go, "You should have a Sanka."
Was it Robert Vaughn? No.
No,
okay. Or no? Oh no, I'm thinking of Victor Kiam, but he did the.
Well, because it was
he
because
owned,
it was.
he owned the Patriots, and he did the what Gillette, right? He owned Gillette.
Yeah.
So Lloyd, I mean, you're not to put this in a bad way, but you're the senior member here at Penny Comics.
Well, we gotta just stop that. Right?
Look,
you drink Sanka, Louis?
look, it's a fact that you're the oldest one here, but we also acknowledge that you're in the best shape and you look
Only
the
by
best,
months.
right? So here's the question: like, these two guys do. Do you ever like sit down for a nice like spaghetti dinner and have a hot fucking coffee?
You got me with that one. No,
No,
I
okay.
don't drink spaghetti and coffee.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a nice fucking bowl of fucking macaron.
No, they don't serve that at Denny's at 4:30.
Yeah.
So it's Denny's, Moon Over My Hammy, Sanka,
We got to go to the early
like
bird.
freaking like
4
Wheel of
o'clock.
Fortune bed. That's Lloyd's night.
I always found it weird. Like for me, like I don't know, when I eat stuff when I was a kid, it would be like dinner, and I'd have like whatever my mom, like a juice or an iced tea.
Yeah.
My sister, one of my sisters, everything we ate, she drank with milk, and I found that to be bizarre too. Like we'd be eating like steak, and she'd cover it in A1 sauce and then wash it down with fucking milk.
I could drink milk with just about anything.
Oh, that's
Okay, I gotta be
milk-
honest. That's weird.
To me, milk
Yeah.
is strictly for like desserty type shit or
Really?
cereal.
I don't drink milk.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I don't either. But I'm saying if I were to have like a cake and there was milk, I would pour like a half. But like if someone said, "Oh, we've got a nice fucking prime rib. What do you want to drink?" It wouldn't be like 2%.
You want some milk with your
That's some
lasagna?
milk.
Skim milk.
No, beer goes good with steak, though.
That beer goes good with pizza, steak,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah. All right. So we're not here to talk about what we
Wow,
like to
we
drink.
derailed
Hey,
that.
speaking of beer,
Yes.
since we're going to talk a little bit about everything,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
did you hear about Sam Adams and Dogfish Head?
I saw you posted something, but I did not read it yet.
It
So
was
give
a
us give us a
$300
go.
million merger of the two companies.
Wow.
Wow.
And Sam Adams is the head.
I was gonna say
the company,
Dogfish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dogfish Head is huge.
No, they're big, but
huge.
to me, if you were to say, give me a name that's more recognizable, I would think Sam Adams would jump out at people first.
They're older, so
Right.
they've been around a lot longer. But yeah, it's a full-on merger of the two companies apparently. So
Really?
yeah.
There appears to be a lot of money in alcohol. I don't know if anyone realized that.
Well, to kind of piggyback on that, you also posted what were the two comic companies that merged this week?
Lion Forge and Oni Press.
Okay, I'm familiar with
really?
Oni.
Yeah.
Lion Forge I've heard, but I'm not really. I don't know if I've ever read anything by them.
Do they do like gaming?
No, Lion Forge has been around for a few years. They're fairly new, but a company called Pyramid, I think, came in and assumed ownership of the company and changed a lot of things that were going on there. They've got their own shared universe of superheroes and that sort of thing. Prior to that, people like Mark Smiley and Joe Illidge had worked for them.
Okay.
So, these are people that we know. I guess it's a pretty strong company. I don't really read anything from them. I check things out periodically. I've read a few of their books, but it goes back quite a ways at this point.
Do you know if now is Lion Forge going to disappear and just become Oni Press?
No.
I don't think so.
It looks like it's again another full-on merger. Oni is the head of all of it. Lion Forge is going to be an imprint, but it's all owned by Pyramid at this point.
Okay.
So, like the head of the originator of Oni Press is leaving the company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's only going to be in an advisory position. So
Lloyd, you ever read
Kinda
any
like-
Oni Press stuff or no?
Oh yeah, I've read some Oni Press stuff. Isn't Rick and Morty?
Rick and
on
Morty,
Oni?
yeah, right.
Stumptown was on Oni, and Letter 44.
There was a book I can't remember. I did enjoy it a couple years ago by Cullen Bunn, and it was a book about these. soldiers that had like a some kind of technology where they can cross over into hell and come back, and it was maybe like a 6-issue miniseries, but Oni did that. And
That wasn't
I like
Namwolf, was it?
No, Namwolf is good though. Namwolf is Albatross.
Oh, okay, right.
Albatross Funny Books.
Eric Powell, the Goon. That's his.
That's his,
his
I love Eric Powell.
comic.
Actually, we have him here.
Comic imprint.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple of mergers there.
Yeah, big.
That's
news
like when
from them.
Archaea and Boom. And Archaea
Boom-
didn't disappear.
Well, Boom bought Archaea outright,
Right.
so it's less of a merger than a purchase.
And again, speaking of Mark Smiley, right? Archaea was his
It
company.
was his company, yeah. And then what happened there? Something else happened there too. Anyway, I don't know. That's far too much industry history that I don't remember everything of. So,
All right, Lou, you ever read any Oni Press stuff? You ever check any of that out? Pardon me. I normally don't do that.
you're gonna edit that sucker out, huh?
I'm going to keep that one in.
You're going to keep that in?
I'm going to keep. Hey, look, we normally don't do that shit. I started the show with a fart. I just burped by mistake.
You're breaking kayfabe now?
I'm breaking kayfabe. Yeah, you're getting into the wrestling, aren't you?
Back.
You're getting back into the wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like the
WrestleMania hooked me.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, like, it was like 7.5 hours of my life.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, I'll tell you, it's enjoyable. I miss it a little.
Well, you know, we talked
got
about
better.
this. We talked about this briefly last week, and I do got to give the WWE credit. Is they charge you for that WWE app and like their streaming service.
Yeah, $9.95 a month.
But the thing that blows my mind, and they're still doing it, is it's $9.95 a month, but you get all of the.
Yeah.
You get WrestleMania with that. You get. I'm assuming. Do they still? Again,
totally excited now.
money in the bank is going to be what.
But back in the day, WrestleMania would be pay per view $30.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now, if you're a fan, you pay
it was like-
$9.99 a month. They don't charge you anything. That'd be like
How many WrestleManias are
Put
there?
this in perspective.
this year was 30, right?
Well, I was going to say, put it in perspective. WrestleMania, if you were to buy it this year, was like $60.
Okay.
So at $9.99 a month,
That's it. Yeah, I have no interest in wrestling.
35. But it was WrestleMania 35.
Was
by
it
the way.
35?
Yeah.
And it was the first WrestleMania that
Headlined by
featured
women.
Women, yeah. Who's the redhead?
Becky Lynch. Yeah. I'm gonna be quiet.
She's not bad looking.
Oh no, she's not.
Yeah, you want to pork her, don't you?
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm just
Lou's got porking eyes.
I
Remember that guy in Rhode Island Comic Con 2 years ago? He was grabbing that wrestling girl's ass.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember?
No.
Oh man, yeah, she was. I don't know who it was. I don't know any wrestlers.
Yeah,
She took his hand off. That's for sure.
I think I do remember that now. Yeah, he was,
I don't remember that. I don't think I was there.
yeah,
was
you
I?
were there.
might-
That. You were there. That was the year that you were afraid to cut in line with us.
Was that the year that I hid in the?
Oh yeah, that was the year when I
Yeah.
called you guys hooligans for jumping
Yeah.
ahead, and I stayed in line in my position because that's how I am. I am
And let's not
a
forget
rule
how
breaker.
Johnny Ganache
Right.
cut in line that year. I hid in a
wa-
porta potty.
it was-
right. Didn't I hide in the porta potty?
We
and-
didn't
and-
cut in line. We
Yes,
just
you did.
went
You
to
cut
where
in
the
line.
line started when we exited our cars.
Yeah.
What
I said
line
no.
were you cutting?
The
line to get
incredibly
in.
long line to get in. Yeah.
I waited in
Don't get
in
me
my
started.
appropriate spot
All right,
because
so
I'm not a rule breaker.
You're good. You're good. You're a good boy, Lou.
I am.
You know what? Let's start before we talk about anything else. Let's start with going on to about, for us in real time, about a week ago. By the time this comes out, maybe 2 weeks ago. Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Free Comic Book Day was last week. Was May 4th. It was May the 4th
May the
be
4th.
with you. And where did we spend it, Lloyd?
We were at Boom Tube in Milldale, Southington, Connecticut.
Yeah, Plantsville, possibly.
Plantsville, even.
Please visit, especially if you're in the Connecticut area, please visit Dan up there, 1475 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike. If you want to check him out online, go follow him on he's not on Twitter, follow him on Instagram. I believe it's at BoomTube or at BoomTube
At
Comics.
Boom Tube Comics.
And if you want to check him out online, it's boomtubecomics.com. But we were there all day long. John, it was a six-pack. It was the second time the six-pack has been
That's
there.
right.
Lou,
Only at Boom Tube.
only at BoomTube.
Yeah, only 2 times.
Two times. Lou, John, myself, Lloyd, and of course Chris Frodell and G.I. Gary. We hung out all day. We had trivia contests. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a blast.
We hung out with so many friends. The 2 of the guys from Robert Barron, Sal and Funk, were there for a good part of the day.
What's Funk's real name?
Greg.
Greg. Okay.
Greg, yeah.
The Funkmeister.
Funkmeister. Funkamania.
Funkamania.
I want that shirt.
Yeah, that's a good
I
shirt.
told him I
I'm going to
said,
have that shirt.
I'm going to get
Before
that
you
shirt.
leave, I'm going to have that shirt.
And,
Good time.
yeah, Dan's wife and son were there. Rich Smith, check him out on Instagram and Twitter. I think it's
Rich.
the Rich Smith Robot. You
Shout
can
out to
find
Rich.
him.
He drew a great comic cover for me with
Yeah,
Darkseid.
He did Darkseid for you.
Yeah, with
I
the
saw
Omega
that.
beams coming out.
We'll post that up on the Pint Facebook
Yeah.
page or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. The crazy cross Omega beams everywhere. And I commissioned him for a birthday gift for Lou. I had him do a Kylo Ren. He made that stupid character look good. That's how you know Rich is good, is he can make a stupid character look good.
Well, I mean, he hasn't. Neither one of the characters you've had him do are stupid.
Yeah, well, Moon Knight was stupid too.
No,
He
not
made
at all.
Moonlight,
Not
yeah.
in the slightest.
So, and he also did, a couple other ones he did. I watched him do that day. He did a Batman with his cowl off for a guy. That was very cool. He did
That's
a
right.
Scarlet Witch that was very good.
Yeah.
He did a. I had to ask him because it was a Joker, but it was specifically the Joker from Gotham, and I don't know, but it was still very good. It just he kind of looked a little bit more normal.
That's right. Yeah,
think
I caught
he
a
said
glimpse
the
of
name. He said it's not the Joker. He goes.
that. I never
by a
watched
name.
Gotham. I don't know.
I know who
And-
the actor is. I don't know his name.
I could
but
picture him myself, but I don't know the name.
He's,
And then
he's on Shameless, the American version of Shameless.
he did Gary. It was Gary who ended up doing it because I saw he posted it. He did Yang from Charlton Comics.
Yeah.
He had a
Oh,
thing.
is that who that is?
That was Gary.
That's
Yeah.
for Gary.
Yeah,
All right, yeah,
Gary's
because
a-
Dan was telling me he's got it here. He
Gary's a
didn't know who
big
it's for.
Charlton Comics fan, and he had him do that. And I think that Rich had a thing going on. If you asked for a Charlton comic character, it was like 20% off or something.
Oh.
Off the regular price. Which is,
E-Man.
E-Man or, geez, I don't know.
Yeah, you can do it.
Dead Air.
No, hold on.
You can do it.
I could do it. Blue Beetle.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Like the image of Blue Beetle he had sitting there.
He did have Blue Beetle on the fucking table. Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of a character from like one of their romance comics, like probably like what I don't know,
Well, that would be Night Nurse.
Night Nurse.
Even on his worst drug-riddled days, not drug. I think that came out a little wrong.
John is on pills for his sinus
Yeah.
issues right
Sinus
now.
drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, what
He's
he thought-
still just
Ah!
sharp as a tack.
He's still sharper than attack.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So it was a great day there at BoomTube, and we're going to be doing more stuff with Dan pretty soon. So check that out. Check him out, seriously. And it was his 1 year anniversary. The next day, I personally didn't go because I was beat by the end of that first day. I spent the whole next day in my jammies.
That was a long day.
It was
It
a
was
long
a
day.
long day.
A lot of trivia. We had a
Yeah,
good
we
time.
did. That was a great time.
Yeah. And
There's actually cool YouTube videos of that, by the way.
That's
Make sure
right.
everyone looks.
Yeah, please. We need more subscribers for our YouTube channel. So go
I put a lot of time and effort into those
You do.
videos.
You do, Lou. We
Yeah.
appreciate it, and they come out really good.
Good stuff.
Next day,
Who
the
was
following
telling
day.
me some little kid won something for just answering a question?
Me.
That was you?
Yeah, no, John
And then
was-
we gave him. Then he won another thing, right?
Yeah.
His father was pretty impressed.
Sir John's heart grew 3 sizes
Yeah.
with that kid.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
They were wondering what was going on. I'm like, well, we're not selling anything. You got to
Right.
answer a question. Answer a question.
Answer a question.
It was
Yeah,
actually adorable. I wish I had had the camera going on.
Yeah, I
that
was
one,
inside. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I did that several times through the course of the day too. It just the kid who answered off camera, I gave him something,
And then actually, you had him on.
had
the
him
next
come on,
round, yeah.
and he almost beat King.
He almost did.
He almost beat King.
I like
King,
when we had the full family of kids.
Oh,
All
yeah.
4 kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
was
had, four,
great.
we had 4 little kids playing against each other. At one point, I think I almost made one of them cry.
Yeah,
By-
The dad was ready to punch you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dad was getting ready to punch me in the face. But
You're like, you're out, kid. He's like, but my first one wrong.
we had a great time. Everybody had a great time. And the following day, we had an awesome radio show with our friend Doug Paskevich from Arsenic Lullaby. So
Mother
it was
Hecker.
Mother Hecker.
Mother Hecker.
So it was a great weekend. But I wanted to bring up the fact that it was Free Comic Book Day, and obviously there was free comic books to be had. And we all took a couple comic books, and I figured since we took some comics from there, why don't we do them as service or maybe a disservice? I know there's definitely a disservice in one of my books at the very least, and kind of talk about some of these books. So,
Yeah.
so John, did you read any of the Free Comic Book Day stuff from that day?
Yeah, I read 2 of them.
What did you read? What'd you think?
Two of the 3 that I got. So.
Okay. Yeah, I took I think like 10, and I've read 3.
Well, I don't have it with me because I didn't feel like bringing it. But I got the Robotech Free Comic Book Day. I guess it's a reintroduction to anyone that hasn't been reading the title. It's already up to issue 20. So if you're not reading the book, this was a good way to get into it because they've got a big storyline coming up. So
Was this a new story? Was this a new story in the issue, or was it like a
it's brand-
reprint?
No,
so
it's
this,
brand
this
new.
is something brand new.
There's a little bit of recap to let you know what's going on. It shows you all the major players, but it's a brand new story. So and that's from Titan Comics.
Titan Comics, right? And Simon Furrier, right? He writes that.
Furman.
Furman, sorry.
Cy Spurrier?
Cy Spurrier writes that? He's not just the president, he's a fucking member.
Simon Furman is a current writer, yes.
Simon Furman from Transformers.
Well, yeah, I mean, most people know.
Who we learned on the radio show, Bob Budiansky basically gave him the Transformers book without talking to Marvel about, which is very funny. He wanted off. He knew Simon Furman was writing the UK Transformers, and he just said to him, "Would you take over for me?" And he never talked to his editors.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. So was the Robotech book? Was it good or?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was good for me. I mean, I'm enjoying the Robotech book. So I mean, if you're a Robotech fan and aren't aware of it, it's basically a reboot of the entire series. So it's like a reimagining. Think of it as the I hate to put it this way, but the Battlestar Galactica of Robotech.
Okay.
So
Battlestar Galactica of Robotech.
Yeah.
It's like BSG 2004 compared to 78.
Yeah, it was that Brandon Braga that did that.
No, it was Michael.
Yeah, Brandon Braga did.
Was it? What was I thought the guy's
Battlestar
name,
Galactica.
What was his name? What was the main guy's name from that?
Moore.
Ronald Moore.
Ronald Moore.
Ronald Moore
And David Ike.
Yeah. It wasn't Brandon Braga, was
I'm
it?
wrong.
Yeah, Brandon Braga was Star Trek.
He's Star Trek,
Yeah.
But Ron Moore and Braga, I guess, they've worked together before.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ron Moore did a lot of Star Trek.
So Robotech was good. What was the other book you looked at?
I have it with me. It's The Dark Age from Red 5.
Oh, I grabbed it. I didn't read it yet. What did you think?
Are they standing by?
You fucking nerd.
Really. Red 5 is a company I've liked for quite a while. They were the company that introduced me to Atomic Robo, which is now produced by IDW. But Red 5 has put out a number of very entertaining miniseries over the years. This is, I guess, it's going to be an ongoing from them.
Okay.
It's another post-apocalyptic world, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's as if metal had suddenly vanished.
Metal vanished.
Metal.
Okay, I thought you said metal head, so I'm like,
metal.
holy cow.
Metal just, one day, metal turns to dust. So it's post-metal.
Post-metal?
That's interesting.
It's a genre.
PM. Yeah, PM.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. The story is good. The art is really nice. I know I ordered the first issue. I don't know. We'll see where it goes from there.
Is this like a
didn't really grab you?
It's basically the same kind of trope for any of these post-apocalyptic. Everyone's trying to find something that's going to catch on, like Walking Dead, and I'm like, these.
So it's over, Johnny.
The first thing that hits me whenever I read one of these things, the best post-apocalyptic story I've read in years came from Oni Press. Actually, it was called The Resistance. It was after the aliens
left, right?
And the aliens left.
I read that. That was actually before it was Oni. Wasn't that Devil's Due?
It might have been
years ago that came out. I actually read that.
There were 2 or 3 different runs of that.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit because it was different.
Yeah.
It's there's the president and then there's a guy that's actually the president and it's all kinds of craziness going on with politics and stuff.
Now,
like
was
that,
this book that you're talking about now? Is that a like 0 issue or was that a reprint?
The Dark Age?
Yeah.
No, this is a brand new like an introduction.
Okay.
So it's I don't know if this stuff is going to be in the first issue or not, but it's essentially setting you up for what's coming.
Okay.
I don't know. It's something people might find interesting, but we'll see where it goes.
I grabbed the last. He had one left in the pile. I picked it up right before we left. I looked at it and I said, another post-apocalyptic thing. It kind of looks like with the cover, kind of like Knights type stuff.
Yeah, there's like the main character that you're following in this you find out at the final page that he's like the leader of their settlement or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like
the art drew me in.
The art's really nice.
I thought the
it
art
really
looked pretty cool. There was
a
a couple of panels I liked, so I grabbed it for free.
There's a flip to it for one of their ongoing miniseries called Afterburn. Again, is another post-apocalyptic story.
Is it post-metal?
No, Afterburn is not a book that it's interesting, but I never bought it, so I never read it.
Is it DM or PM? During metal or post-metal?
Afterburn?
Okay,
I don't think
it's AB, DM, PM.
I don't think they coincide with anything. It's just
All right. So Lloyd, Free Comic Book Day, give us a couple ideas of stuff that you picked up and read.
Yeah, I picked up a few. Are we doing Dragonfly afterwards together?
We'll do that. Well, since I think we all looked at some part of that. I only read one part.
I haven't
of
even
it.
cracked it yet.
Okay, so we'll do that.
Right, I'll start,
we'll do that last.
I'll start with Deadly Class.
Rick Remender.
There's a Rick Remender, Image Comics
TV show
Deadly
now.
Class. Yeah, TV show, which I've heard is really good. I've seen 2 episodes and I like it.
I watched the first 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then fell off the rails there.
Well, if you don't know what Deadly Class is, it's been going on for 7 or 8 volumes now. Rick Remender and Wes Craig, and it's about a school of assassins for basically like a high school. And this is like the main character is Marcus. He was a street kid. He got drawn into this school of assassins, and this is sort of a early Marcus, like freshman year story.
So it's a brand new story.
It's a brand new story. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically about some of his friends. They want to go to a concert, and it's Fishbone, a real band, and Loose Screws. I'm not familiar with Loose Screws. Maybe that's just written for the story.
I'm a Fishbone fan, but I'm not familiar with Loose Screws.
It's probably a local band that's a friend of the
It's probably one of Rick Remender's buddies.
Yeah. There's a lot of Rick, especially this book, a lot of music references.
Right.
I think the TV show is very deep into like post-punk music and goth and stuff like that.
So if you're a fan of Deadly Class, you're still reading it, right?
I read it in volumes now.
But that was enjoyable.
I liked it. It's basically a commentary on selling out, like what's considered selling out for your art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
I'll do a quick one here. Stranger Things, a little story about what happened with Will. No, not Will. Who is Nancy, her brother? Mike.
Yeah.
It's Nancy and Steve hanging out, and she's a little concerned about her brother, Mike.
No, you're a fan of the show,
he seems
right?
Depressed, yeah.
A lot of times,
it's just a little in between story. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's not a great book.
A lot of times those tie-in books don't work for me. You know, especially when the like I read the it's over now, but like the Buffy stuff they did, because that continued on the show. But a lot of times when the show is still going, the stuff that's involved in it, a lot of times kind of because they can't really. What are they going to do in the book where it's that worry that we can't do this because they're doing that in the show?
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I'll tell you, it was fun to see Steve. I like Steve as a character.
Steve's great.
So he was pretty cool to see in this.
Steve went from first season being a character that I thought I can't even look at this dude to being by second season like I can't get enough of this dude. And it all hinged on that actor and his relationship with Dustin. Mm-hmm. You watch Stranger Things or no?
First season, yes. Got about halfway through the second season and just never finished it. Just forgot.
It's not as good as the first season, but it's good to watch really the arc of the characters. And Steve is just fucking fantastic.
He's great.
He has great hair too. That kid. That kid's got great hair. All right, what else do you have there?
Yeah, well, the backup story to that is another Black Hammer story. From the Black Hammer universe, I think it relates to Black Hammer 45, where there's a squadron, like a World War II squadron, before the Black Hammer actual character that's introduced in the book.
And this is Jeff Lemire, right?
Jeff Lemire,
right? Yeah. Okay.
I think they're expanding that whole Black Hammer universe.
It's getting huge now.
Did you see what's happening?
What's happening now?
So Black Hammer and Justice League are having crossover issues.
Yeah, they're having a 5-issue crossover.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in the end of this book here, there's a character.
Is it printed by DC or Dark Horse?
It's probably going to be both. Most of them are.
Dark Horse.
Okay.
It's done by Dark Horse. So in the back of this, a new character is introduced called Jack Sabbath. One of the things I love about the whole Black Horse thing is some of the characters. They're hilarious. And you got Abraham Slam, Jack Sabbath.
And this is a superhero comic, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's based on something. If John read it, I'm sure he could tell. But it seems to me like it's based on some comic series that I'm unaware of.
You mean the
whole Black Hammer universe?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah, you haven't read it. So.
No, but the pilots here look a lot like it's Blackhawks. What little I've looked at it,
Does Lemire draw that too or no?
He does not draw this. That's Dean Ormond or
Dean Ormston, your buddy from Lucifer.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's got a real good look. I like the art in it.
When he used to do your favorite issue of Lucifer, there, the kids that get caught in the cathedral tower.
The cathedral tower, when they try to steal from him, right?
Yeah,
that's that's an all-time issue.
Ormston did a lot of Vertigo work and is a very particularly he's a very singular artist. You look at his artwork and nobody else is drawn like this guy. So I've always liked his stuff.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah. Anytime his name is attached to anything, I want to take a look at it. But the Black Hammer stuff has been going on for so long now, I'm way behind, and I'll never get caught.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm interested in, mostly from hearing Lloyd talk about it, because in all honesty, the first few times I saw it, I didn't realize it was Lemire.
Yeah, I do talk about that a lot.
You do?
He
Well,
writes
that's
it
a favorite
all,
of yours, right?
and he doesn't draw any of it. He does covers. That's about it.
You know, I don't read all of the Lemire stuff, obviously, but he did that book a couple years ago that impressed the shit out of me. Trillium.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Because that was one of those books that involved you had to
turn the book upside down.
Yeah, it was like you had to physically interact with the book to
Yeah.
get the story. And I just thought when I read that it was clever.
Yeah.
And and in the 6 issues they did, there was multiple things they did. There was one book that you read it, and then halfway through
Backwards and
you
forwards.
had to flip it over and
Yeah.
then read it backwards, like kind of almost like manga.
Yeah.
And to get to the other side of the book, and it was telling a story in 2 different time periods with 2 different characters stuck on opposite times.
It was very cool.
It was very cool.
Can you say manga again?
Manga. What? how
Manga.
how do you say manga?
Manga.
Just sounds funny when you say it. That's all.
Well, I fucking hate manga, so
Manga.
you won't hear me say it often because I hate it.
And there go more subscribers.
Oh no.
Oh God! Look, let's be honest. I'm not going to lie to anybody here. If you're listening to us for our manga talk, you're in the wrong spot. And
We don't talk about manga enough.
oh God,
It's huge.
I am more than willing. Look, here's the thing. Here's what I'll
Anime for that matter.
I'll put
Yeah.
this out. Anime, fuck anime. I'll put this out there. I'll put this out there. You guys come up with an episode where you give me a manga title to read. I'll read it. We talk about it.
Attack on Titan.
No.
I mean, that's huge, though.
I haven't read any of that. No, I'll give you what the hell is it? I keep thinking Deadly Class at this point, but
You want to know a funny
Akira?
story? I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
I own the entire. I remember when they came up with those red volumes.
Yeah.
I own the whole thing. I've never read it.
you should.
Yeah.
Keith Giffen did all the
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. Yeah,
Battle Royale. But that's some dirty shit, by the way.
It-
I cracked it open one day.
you have no idea how.
I cracked it open one day, and there is some filthy fucking shit going on in that
Yeah,
book. Yeah.
it's done smartly.
Yeah.
It's really nasty.
I will read it.
It gets into the head of every single one of those kids, no matter how
Those books must have
twisted
come out
they are.
like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was 5 volumes, and they came out like about 4 months apart.
Yeah.
And they were probably like $50. I bought them all.
I've never read
And-
any manga.
Yeah. I'm just not.
That's the real stuff. I'm not talking about Japanese comic books turned into American comic books.
Right.
Like a lot of things that you'll get Ranma 1/2, and it's done up like an American
Right.
series. You're reading front to back. I'm saying the actual read from back to front manga. Small digest size things, or even the big collections that they used to do. I have that, and I have that's even done.
Well, let's put it this way. If you want to
Western.
do maybe 1 volume of that, obviously, because that would be a long show to do all 5, I would gladly do that.
Let's do it.
Because I'll step outside of my comfort zone. I just truly do not like I've tried to watch some animes, and I just cannot.
You got to
fucking
pick the
get
right
into
anime.
it.
That's all.
I know. It's just.
Not everyone hits you.
Yeah.
Like for years after getting into it, I just couldn't find a series that I could get into. They were so terrible. But I'm not gonna shit all over the damn the whole genre just because I couldn't find one that was interesting as Robotech.
Yeah. See, I don't. That's. I watched Robotech as a kid, and I guess that's anime, but there seems
It is
to be,
anime.
It just seems like maybe older anime appeals to me more. I've just tried a few, and again, you're right, but
just gotta find the one that-
I do with other stuff. I hate country music. I'll shut on the whole genre. I can't take it. I just generally cannot deal with like the.
You don't like
style.
boys that look like girls?
I mean, I don't mind it. It's all right. It's just
That's in Robotech.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you the honest truth. I'll tell you one that interests me from seeing the Netflix movie, and maybe you saw this. I know everybody who saw the Netflix movie said it sucked compared to the manga, Death Note. But I watched the movie, and I thought, this is a cool premise, and I enjoyed the movie for what it was. That one is one that I would check out. So,
Never
Yeah,
saw
see, there
it.
you go. You found something.
so
to
maybe
hit ya.
we'll do a Battle Royale Volume 1, which I have. I think, I can lend it out to everybody. We'll read the first one. I'm going to need a complete fucking starter course on how to read this motherfucker. I know in the back of the book it shows you how to do it.
Back to front.
Back to front, but I mean...
You follow it's back. Just think of it backwards from America.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, Lloyd, what was your next
All
book?
right, my last one I'll do real quick. It's Albatross Funny Books, Grumble versus the Goon. Grumble is written by Rafer Roberts, and
You got it.
Didn't you share a hotel room with Rafer Roberts one year during New York Comic Con?
and I got a
There you go, yeah.
special
With Lonnie
sketch
Chan.
cover last year from him
Nice.
at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, Rafer's coming back to Terrificon.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
What was it? Was it one you actually paid for, or was it one of those
Yeah,
free
no, I
ones you
paid
managed
for
to
it.
weasel
I
off
don't-
on the back of a comic book board?
Don't weasel anything. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, dude, you're
You're
good.
pissing me off. You're pissing me
good.
off. Shut the fuck up.
You're good.
Wow.
I am good.
I've never seen anyone.
Hey, Jim Lee. I know you got a.
I know you're busy,
I know you're currently
but,
signing contracts right now. But can you take this backing board and can you draw a complete Batman in Gotham
with a background, and maybe he's. Can you draw?
You
like
guys
the
are in
last
awe when I talk to people.
can you
There's
draw?
no. Wait,
All right, enough.
Look.
Can you draw like the entire last page of the Killing Joke?
I am in awe.
Is that possible?
I am in awe of it.
Have you ever
because-
seen people do that? Because I've seen it.
I've never done
does
it.
it.
I've never done anything like what Lou's saying.
No, well, you did surprise me. Okay, so the story is this: New York Comic Con 2 years ago was the first time we went with Lloyd.
Yeah.
Story is
And
this.
Lloyd,
We've already talked about this.
did we talk about it?
Yeah, we've talked about
All right. Well, maybe there's a new listener out there. Lloyd,
I haven't heard this story.
have you not heard this story? So
There's
Lloyd,
our new listener.
Lloyd is just like commander confidence with the artist. He goes, he brings a bunch of backing boards, and he basically just where I'm a con pro. I don't mind talking to people. I've talked with Lou before where Lou wants to buy something, and I've talked the guy down on it. Where Lou's like, I don't feel it. I'm like, dude, he'll give you $20 for it, and he'll do it. I'll do stuff like that all day. But like usually with an artist, I find myself to be more like, how much would you do this for? Lloyd's just like, I got a backing board. Would you do a sketch on it for me for free? And like these dudes are all doing it. They're very, they're rudimentary designs.
I don't say for free.
You don't say for free.
No, I don't
Although
say for free.
It did bone you at New York Comic Con with an artist. I'll remain nameless. We both know him.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Lloyd handed it to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." He does. He goes, $30.
Yeah, that's fine.
So he did have one.
Yeah, and I happily paid.
But he's
$30 is a good deal.
It was a good deal, and the crazy part was that this guy who we love, and again, don't want to say his name. He's a great artist, but he's more of an indie guy, lower level guy. He's going up to fucking Wes Craig and these dudes like
Who's Wes Craig?
Sean Murphy.
Sean Gordon Murphy, and he's
I got
Murphy,
3 drawings by Sean Murphy.
Yeah, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. He's a good artist.
Yeah, you should next time you come to record, you should bring like those just so we can kind of maybe take some pictures
Yeah,
of them
I'll
and
do
put them
that.
up on the.
Yep.
They're awesome. Okay, so Grumble is Rafer Roberts. The Goon.
Drawn by Mike Norton.
Okay,
And the other one
Mike
is
Norton did Revival, right?
Yes, he did.
Right.
Mike
Yeah.
Norton's an excellent artist.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
Grumble, I don't know if you guys are reading this on a regular basis.
I do. I read it.
All right. Grumble was a 5-issue series, which is now on its 7th issue.
Yeah, right. It's
they've
it's
expanded
going
it?
full force now.
Yeah. And now they're soliciting it as like of a 5-issue series, and it's like on issue 8 or 9
Yeah.
for their solicitations.
Was Grumble the book that I think he maybe
He
gave you a
announced
copy?
last year.
He announced last year at Terrificon.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Terrificon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
yeah,
It was
okay.
right around Terrificon
Yeah.
that he was announcing it. So
And
yeah, it was a big deal.
the other one is The Goon, drawn by and written by Eric Powell. And the characters are in the same universe, and they just kind of stumble into each other in a bar, and funny shit happens. There's a little dog in Grumble who's really a human, but he's a shape changer, and his name's
I don't think they're
Eddie.
human.
He's he starts off as a human, then
Yeah,
he
but
turns
I don't
into
think
a
he's
dog.
human.
I don't know what he is.
There's weird shit going on in
Yeah,
Grumble.
it's
I
a
mean,
fun book.
people aren't who they look like, and it's weird.
I'll have to check it
It's
out.
it's fun. It's honestly, I mean, the first few issues I was like, whatever, but I got drawn into it because
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
It's a fun,
It's
crazy book.
insane.
And the
crazy.
Goon and the Grumble people together is pretty fun. Yeah, so I would pick up this book definitely if you can still find it.
All right. Well, mine, I'm not going to have as much nice stuff to say for the most part. I read last night. We'll start with the better of the two, which still wasn't very good. IDW is doing the Star Wars Adventures, which is a kids line. Marvel has the Star Wars license, obviously. They're doing Star Wars, Darth Vader, all that shit. And that's all more, I don't want to say adult titles, but that's all more, I guess, all ages. This is considered more, it's got the Disney logo right there on the cover. And this is Star Wars Adventures, a terrifying tale featuring Han and Chewie, which we can't not talk about Chewie without on the podcast mentioning that last week Peter Mayhew died. And you know what? Let's do that real quick because we were kind of talking about this on the group text. Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca in obviously the original trilogy, he played him in Revenge of the Sith. He played him in bits in Force Awakens, and that was it. After that, it was I'm going to say his name wrong, like Jonas. Go ahead, you know it?
It's Eunice Suotamo.
Yeah, it's something like that. Big, tall,
Jonas.
Finnish.
That dude was in Rhode Island.
He was
too.
in Rhode Island.
Yeah. He was right next to the wrestler lady.
He was right next to the wrestler lady. Yeah, he was about 7 feet tall and good looking and blonde.
Yeah.
He looks like he just drinks milk and eats apples all day long. He chops down trees, drinks milk, eats apples, and he has a good time. But so Peter Mayhew passed away at the age of 74 last week, which is really sad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of nice stuff said about him. Harrison Ford, who's notoriously quiet on shit, came out and said some really good stuff. And Mark Hamill, George Lucas, and it's sad because when you think about Star Wars, you think of the characters. I do, because that's the stories suck. Let's be honest, the stories are kind of fucking garbage. Empire Strikes Back, withstanding that, that's a great story, but it's very basic. It's like a kid's space opera. But it's the characters that draw you and make you want to see more of them. And Chewbacca, here's a guy who threw 100 pounds of fucking fur, and did he even do the vocalizations? He probably didn't, right? That was probably.
I always thought he did.
I don't really know.
He always did them.
He did them, but were what you heard in the movie, was that ADR from someone else?
I would say probably part him.
Okay.
At the very least, maybe done up. Honest to God, I really don't know.
So when you think about it, all you see of this guy are his eyes.
Yeah.
And who knows if those are even contacts.
Jeez, that's a Google thing.
And he built this character that millions of people fell in love with.
Yeah.
So I think I put it out there and asked the guys in our little group chat, what was your favorite Chewbacca moment in any of the movies? And we'll go with Sir John. John, what was your favorite Chewbacca moment in any of these films?
Well, when in Empire, when they walk. They're on Bespin, the Cloud City, and they walk into the room where Darth Vader is, and they see Darth Vader, and he just flips out.
Yeah,
that's my favorite Chewie scene. I mean, really, because honestly, the emotion you get from him is usually comedic or otherwise. You don't get a whole lot of interaction with him, and that you get the full on "screw you, Vader, I'm going to kill you."
he was based on George Lucas's dog named Indiana, which ended up naming Indiana Jones, but it was the same dog.
George Lucas.
But the thing is like if you watch these movies,
my next dog was Jar Jar.
if you watch these movies, pay attention to Chewbacca. It's like watching a dog. When Han talks to him in certain ways and he makes little head movements, he's like a fucking dog. And I think that's how he paid.
That's why he's so endearing.
He's super endearing.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a 7 and some odd foot tall, giant ape thing that you would be terrified of, and you can't even look at him without wanting to give him a fucking hug.
Kashyyyk.
What do you got?
I have the official answer.
What's the official answer?
Mayhew did not come up with or do the voice of Chewbacca. Lucasfilm sound designer Ben Burtt did.
Ben Burtt came up with a shit ton of
stuff.
Guy was a genius.
Yeah.
Putting it together from grunts and growls from a variety of different animals. Mayhew actually had English lines, which he spoke for the benefit of the actors on set.
Yeah, someone. I think it was
interesting.
Chris Frodell.
I didn't even know that.
I think Chris Frodell answered on the group chat that he's seen video of Mayhew during filming, talking in English, or there was bits where it might have been rehearsal where they're doing things and he's got the helmet off, speaking in English. Because if you ever saw him without it on, his eyes are covered in black makeup so that you can't see any of the skin around the eyes. Lou, what was your favorite Chewbacca moment in all of these movies?
I go completely with Sir John.
So
and they're on
freaking out.
Bespin and he sees Vader and just goes nuts.
All right.
It was such a real moment.
It is.
Yeah.
But one of the things you think about, that movie has more Chewie bits than pretty much the other two do.
Oh, absolutely.
Closely followed by the one where
That's
I was going to say, talking about Chewie bits. When
I like your chewy bits.
Brand new Chewie bits.
when Han goes out on the Tauntaun to find Luke,
from Kellogg's.
and he's like, when they go, your Tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker. He's
Well,
like,
I'll see you in hell.
And then Chewie's like, when he goes because he's scared. He doesn't. He may die.
Someone I know recently was
actual-
complaining about the wipes in the Star Wars movies. I think those are genius.
No,
the
it's
way
old
they
school.
translate, it's old school,
Yeah,
and
it's
nothing wrong with that.
It makes you think Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like there's no, the little, circle and the wipes. It's just it's beautiful.
They're done up as the old cereals
Yeah.
from the 40s and 50s, though. But
My personal favorite Chewie moments. I'm going to go with when they go to put Han in the carbonite. And
he's flipping out.
Flips out. And when he tosses a stormtrooper like fucking 40 feet. And just that whole scene where Han has to tell him that it's like the dad talk, you're the man now and you got to watch the princess, and it's fucking heartbreaking. And the other part I've always loved, and I think we discussed this because we did the Star Wars trivia at BoomTube the other day, was just the scene where Chewbacca is having the standoff with the Imperial probe droid, and he just he shoots it, and then it when it starts making that siren noise, he's just like, I just love that scene because it's like, what did you do?
All from Empire.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Lloyd, what do you got?
I'll give you two. I'll give you one from a newer one. After Han gets killed, he goes berserk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It is good.
And then the comedic one is when they're playing the hologram chess, and C-3PO says something. He goes, that guy will rip your arms off or something like that. And he does this, he puts his arms behind his head and gives that little nod.
See, I didn't consider that one from Force Awakens because that's not Mayhew.
Well, you don't know. Mayhew.
No, he didn't have that kind of mobility.
I think they said most of
I
that was.
thought at that
was
point,
Otamo.
you
I
could
thought he
pretty
did
much
that.
tell that he's moving around much.
I think
he
did.
looks much younger.
I think I did read that all the Mayhew scenes were only in the cockpit.
Yeah.
I think the scene where they walk onto the Falcon and it's him saying, Chewie, we're home, is Mayhew because they wanted it to be him there. And then anytime he was in the cockpit, it was Mayhew because he was actually, I think at that point, mostly in a wheelchair.
Yeah, there was no way Mayhew was running around blasting people and chucking them out.
That's too bad. I thought he did that movie.
It's still a great
I thought he
shoot.
did
It's
that
still a
part.
great-
Well, no,
But
he was there, and
Yeah.
he did parts and they were very coy about what he did versus certain scenes, what he did versus what Jonas did. But like I said, the scene where the dude's running around climbing ladders, that's not Mayhew.
There's a great interview with how you pronounce his name, Eunice.
Jonas.
After the announcement of Mayhew passing away, and there's a great interview with him. I think it's with the Hollywood Reporter, where he talks about how great of an influence Mayhew was to him, and
Taught him,
how they worked on everything. And he goes, he said he's not going to say which scenes he did and which scenes Mayhew did. He's like, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, just
I like the way he just says that.
That's
He's
a good
like,
answer.
disrespectful. He goes, it's passing of the torch, and and it just goes into the whole thing about how.
So I like to think
together.
that for that scene,
It's a great
they would have
interview.
used Mayhew.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have loved to see that too, but I like you say, his mobility was limited.
It is important
Very,
too
very
because
limited.
he does fucking injure Kylo Ren. He gives as much as I don't like that movie, he gives Rey the advantage she needs to kind of beat this.
Shoots him in the dick.
He got him in the side.
Just square in the dick.
He got him in the side, but I mean, he did. Yeah, there's that scene where they have the lightsaber fight, and he keeps on like sticking his fingers in it, like he's like, "Oh, this ain't good." He's like, "That Wookiee fucking." I mean, you got to think about it too, man. That was like his fucking pet dog when he was a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of fans. He grew up with him. He helped
grew up
raise
with
him.
him.
Yeah.
Chewbacca was like, Kylo Ren, what a piece of shit.
Fuck.
All right, so Free Comic Book Day, Star Wars Adventures, Han and Chewie. They get into an adventure. It's like a very buried treasure pirate adventure.
Is it like Droids, the animated show?
It was better than the next one I'm going to talk about. I think that kids might enjoy this. I got bored by page 5. I skim read the rest of it. I went back to make sure I didn't miss anything great.
Were the words too small for you?
No, the words were fine. This was not.
I needed my huge magnifying glasses.
Here, Lou,
run.
Lou, you can have that. You like Star Wars?
Thanks.
My next book that I read was from Chapter House Comics,
The best.
which is Chapter House is a Canadian company. They're only about I think 5 or 6 or 7 years old, right? But
Chapter House has been around for a while.
But they acquired Captain Canuck, who is a longtime character. 1975, I believe he came out in. Well, the conceit of this issue is who is the new Captain Canuck, right? So from what I gather in this issue, the beginning of this issue starts as a bunch of dossiers. Here's what I know about the Chapter House universe. There is a heroic organization called Equilibrium. And the old Captain Canuck, Tom Evans, which isn't that also a donut shop in Canada?
Bob
Tim
Evans.
Bob Evans. Bob Evans.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
But Bob Evans is another. So Tom Evans was the previous Captain Canuck. He dies.
Oh,
he has a
yay,
sidekick.
they killed off the original.
Not in here. He's just been dead.
He's
apparently.
already dead.
I wouldn't know.
So it's a dossier. There's an evil organization called the Aurora Borealis. And at some point, they introduce the new Captain Canuck in here. All I can tell you about it is it was African-American or African-Canadian gentleman, maybe. The thing about this book is that I read it once and then I went back to double check. I don't think they ever identify who this character was. So who is the new Captain Canuck? I don't fucking know, is the answer.
It's in the next issue.
It might be in the next issue, but I can tell you from the writing and from the art, it was written by, I think it says W.T.S. Morris, and there's like when you look in the credits, there's a ton of artists. I don't know why there's a ton of artists on this fucking thing. You want this one, Lou?
No, I'm good, thanks.
I actually had a dude, I posted this on Twitter last night, and I posted like, I don't get this book. Who is the new Captain Canuck? And some guy on Twitter was like, I need that. I'm going to hit him back up and mail this to him.
I can't get
Pint
on board
Comics
with-
has got you, buddy.
Right.
So that's gone.
Courtesy of Pint Comics.
Courtesy of Pint Comics. So now we have our friends from Ahoy, and they had Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man. And John's the only one that did not look at this. I did not read the Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man story. What's that?
I didn't read it.
didn't read it.
The Wrong Earth.
Oh, you didn't read Wrong Earth at all? Okay.
Right.
Well, I did. I didn't read Dragonfly Man. I did read, there's a Captain Ginger backup in here, probably a 6-page backup. We can talk about that real quick.
Yay.
That was very good. It was a story about Captain Ginger. It's basically a story about why do Captain Ginger and Commander Mittens?
Mittens,
engineer.
Sergeant. He's Sergeant
Mittens. Where does their bad blood start? And you find out when it starts when they were kittens on the ship.
Yeah.
Of course.
And it's kind of a funny tale. It's a little sad at parts too.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's basically about how like when
The last panel is very sad.
the last panel is very sad. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole thing is really
The whole
sad.
thing is sad. Captain Ginger's mother
Hear
basically.
that, Stuart? They think your story is sad.
Hey, he said fuck on our show. So
I'll tell you what, there's a lot more heart in those 6 pages than I've seen in a lot of books.
it was a really
was
good
incredibly
story.
good
It was a
for
really good
sure.
story.
Yeah.
Do
So
it
what?
F-bomb more.
So what did you guys think of the Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man story? Was it good? Was it worth?
Yeah, Lou read it and I read it, right?
Yeah.
And you don't
take-
read The Wrong Earth?
Well, no. Well, you take the lead, man. You're the host.
Well, it is a mirror universe. You know, you got the same characters. One's Dragonfly in one world, Earth.
Dragonfly's
Alpha.
Earth Omega.
Yeah, Dragonfly's Earth Omega. Dragonfly Man is Earth Alpha, and that's the good Earth, and the other Earth is the bad Earth, and yeah, the good Earth. Pearl-esque book.
The easiest way to think about it is think Batman 66 versus like Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah, they switched places.
That's the easiest way to like think of the difference between the two of them.
Was this a new story? Was this something?
It was a brand new story. Yeah, yep. In the Earth Alpha, boy, I get those mixed up. He gets tricked. Dragonfly Man gets tricked and put in jail because of his mask. And he's like, what the heck's going on here? But he figures out it's really just a ruse because they want to christen a ship in his name. But he figures it out.
Okay. So we basically say Grumble versus the Goon. I almost said Groot. Is a go, right? You said that was a go?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Dragonfly Man, the Ahoy book was a go.
I would go with Ahoy for sure.
What else? You had the Stranger Things. You said that's
Yeah.
Deadly Class is a go.
Yeah, definitely.
John, you would say that Post-Metal
Dark
Age was worth it?
For a freebie, yeah,
Freebie.
sure.
Robotech worth it?
Definitely.
Okay, and
Especially if you're already reading the series. It's great. It's a great lead-in. It's a great lead-in for anybody that hasn't been reading the series either. So
All right. And for me, Dragonfly Man, Dragonfly, the Captain Ginger backup was excellent. I'll read the other story later. Captain Canuck, go fuck yourself. I honestly don't care. I honestly don't care. I don't know, man. There was a period where I was trying to. There's a book by Chapter House called The Pitiful Human Lizard. Have you seen that?
it's in the same universe.
I'm
as
really
those
interested
characters.
in that, and now I'm like,
That sounds great.
it's like this office drone worker who gets like these powers, and he works during the day, and then at night he's trying to become. It seems like a good concept, but from reading this book, I'm afraid that if it's put together the same way, it's very.
I read about 2 issues of Captain Canuck a few years back, and I bailed out immediately.
Not good.
I've never been interested in the character, even back in the day. So it was just
His powers are so strangely defined in this too. It seems like either him or Quebec can create portals that almost like teleportation portals, but you don't know if it's him or her. It's I don't know. I didn't dig it. And the Star Wars book, in all honesty, I'm sure for a kid was good, but like I said, 5 pages in, and it's basically what's his name, Alden Ehrenreich. Is that his name?
Alden
It's
Ehrenreich,
Alden Ehrenreich solo.
Oh, it's young Han.
It's
Yeah,
young
it's young
Han.
Han.
It's
Young
young
Han.
Han. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you did the covers definitely Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah.
with his Muppet hair.
All right, here's something I wanted to bring up real quick because I think this is interesting. Fathom Events. You guys, you know what Fathom Events is?
Sure.
It's a company that they do movies in big theaters,
Yep.
and it's usually like very limited runs. Like as a matter of fact, it sucked that it didn't suck. It was great that we were out last week for Free Comic Book Day, but They did Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and let's not even talk about Batman and Robin. But they did those 4 movies over the course of last weekend. So
Golly, Batman.
you could have gone and seen those in the theaters. I just wanted to bring up some of the movies that they're doing for the rest of this year and give some dates out because they're doing some pretty cool anniversary things going on. So I thought this was interesting. If there's certain movies out there that you loved and you wanted to catch on the big screen and maybe you saw it when you were a kid or maybe you
Behind the
didn't
Green
see
Door.
It. Behind the Green Door is actually one of them. It's actually funny you mention that. Yeah. No. So
70s Bush.
Turner Classic Movies, TCM, Big Screen Classics it's called. And I think John did a couple years ago, you went and saw Maltese Falcon.
Yep.
When they did that.
We did
matter of fact,
Double Indemnity, which was
this
awesome.
weekend, which I didn't add on here because it doesn't matter, nobody's going to hear it. They're doing True Grit, the John Wayne version.
I'd go see that in a big screen.
was good.
Yeah, they're playing that this weekend. Double Indemnity you did. I think I did with my wife, or I did Jaws. I saw Jaws for the 30th anniversary, or 35th, 40th anniversary. So here's what you have coming up for the rest of the year.
42nd and a half anniversary.
Well, at this point,
Jaws.
At this point, it's 43. June 16th and 18th. So you have time if you want to pick these up. The 30th anniversary of this one doesn't interest me much, but I figure I'd throw it out there. Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner's Field of Dreams is 30 years
That's
old.
a tearjerker.
It is a tearjerker. I cried at the end of that one when I saw it. I saw that one once when I was a kid, and it made me cry. This one I'm almost definitely getting tickets for because
Nothing makes John cry.
This is an underrated movie that I never got to see on the big screen. 30th anniversary, which is crazy. July 21st and 24th, Glory.
Nice.
Glory.
That's a long movie.
That is a long movie, and that is, you ever see that?
Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman, Matthew Broderick, Andre Brower,
I don't
Denzel
remember it.
Washington.
I don't think I saw it.
It's good.
You ever see it, Lou?
Yeah, a long time ago, but it is awesome.
Fucking ending of that movie is, oh, Jesus. That's a great movie. Great movie. So maybe if you guys are interested, I want
Are
to
people
going to
be complaining
Yeah, I
about
might
having to
go
go to
see
the
that.
bathroom during that one too?
No.
Like, don't drink your soda and plan your bathroom breaks.
Well,
and how am I going to make it 3 hours without peeing?
I've never seen the next one, but I think this is a long one too. September 1st plus 4th, Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh.
So
Oh, really?
Talk about a long
Yeah,
movie.
I
that's
had
a
a feeling
long
that John
movie.
was going to get a boner on that one.
Yeah, no, I the only time I've ever seen it is on the small screen.
So there you go. Maybe
That
we'll
might
go.
actually be worth. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love Lawrence of
Well,
Arabia.
let's go. Let's make a plan.
That's something to see in the big screen.
Yeah, that would actually be cool.
That's
All right.
That's a
Alec,
big
yeah.
picture thing. So
Well, that was probably what we talked to. Geez, the name's slipping out of my head. Cinema Retro Magazine.
Oh, I have a copy of
Lee
that
Pfeiffer,
here. Yeah.
right? It's probably one of those roadshow movies at one point that we talked about where they would.
yeah, actually, it is. I don't have that issue with me, but it is.
It's actually funny. So we did that episode of cinema of Lee Pfeiffer on the radio show, talking about roadshow pictures and how you'd go to this movie and it would be a little bit longer because they'd cut it down for the theaters. And my dad listens to the radio show. He heard that one.
Oh, yeah?
And he was like, I remember going to those when I was a kid. Like these big movies where we'd get dressed up and, it would be like on a screen like that was like 3 times the size. And I'm like, that's just really cool.
That's nice.
Because that's a period of time that's over,
It's over and done, yeah.
The funny thing about that movie is the majority of that movie, because I think that if I'm not mistaken, that movie was based off of the book With Lawrence in Arabia.
Yeah.
And it was highly stylized.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it was BS.
How much of it, because he wrote it himself, how much of it is embellished?
Right,
Of his own
but if you-
because he talked up a storm.
Yeah.
He really embellished everything he said.
But the funny thing is, it's one of those weird situations where if you've actually read like a biography of him,
Yeah.
it's actually more incredible than the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Because he was insane. He was an incredible human being. The things he did. I mean, he was like a real life hero.
Yeah, the things he did were just insane. Nobody could do those now. And on top of that, you've got historians going to the places that he was at and verifying now things that he wrote about.
Really?
It's insane, some of the things that they were.
I'll fully admit my knowledge of it is the name Lawrence of Arabia.
I have never made it through that movie.
And that it's a classic, and I don't know anything about. I know Peter O'Toole's the star. I don't know anything about the story, so we should have a
just
pint
get used
date
to.
night.
I'll tell you, I read a couple of biographies of him a few years back. Just I don't know why I got on a bender and I went, you know what, I want to learn more about him.
Yeah.
And I read some actual, like you said, like verified biographies,
Right.
not the stories he told.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just, you sit there and you read it and you go, okay, I've seen Lawrence of Arabia, I've seen the stories he told, and now I'm reading stuff that's actually been verified by historians, and it's way more over the top than even his stories.
Get your popcorn, boys.
All
September
right.
1st or 4th, we're going.
We're going to Pinto Cow.
Here's another one that I'm going to, and I did see this in the theaters. I was lucky. Because this movie was, I don't want to say it wasn't a hit, but I think people slept on this. But this came out around the time that I used to go to the movies all the time. September 24th, 22nd, 24th, and 25th, the 25th anniversary of the Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was. I wish I could tell you.
Wow.
1994.
Is that old already?
I wish I could tell you that Andy got away from the sisters, but he didn't. Here's one that excites me. I got to see this on the big screen about a year and a half ago down at Yale, October 13th, 15th, and 16th in space. No one can hear you scream.
Oh,
Alien. 40th anniversary. Make you feel old again. And then November 10th, 12th, and 13th. They're doing this because they did the first one last year. And I'm sure they'll probably skip the third one because no one cares about that. The Godfather Part 2.
Ooh.
Which I wanted to see the first one last year. I couldn't. I'll go see Godfather.
One of them days is my birthday.
Ooh. I know it's the 13th.
Yeah, that's right.
11/13.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up real quick before John's going to do a quick book review for us.
I am?
Yeah, you're going to do a quick book review.
Okay.
I did want to bring up something, though, that ties into Alien's 40th anniversary because we're in it right now, and it ties into a former guest of the show. Keith R.A. DiCandido is writing a book through Titan Books. It's coming out on July 19th. It's already written. I shouldn't say writing. Alien Isolation, which is a video game.
Yes.
Which I bought a couple years ago, and I couldn't play because I was so terrified by the fucking thing. I tried. I'm not kidding you, man.
Really?
I tried playing this game at night, and I was like, fuck it. It's still sitting up there. I've only gotten
I
one.
love those scary games.
Nice.
Fuck. Have you played it?
No, but I
Okay.
just love all that kind of stuff. Turn the lights off, turn around the surround sound.
Terrifying. Turtle heading all the way. So Keith DiCandido, who is I always get the what he is. DiCandido, but I always get what he is wrong. He is the most prolific author of what is it, tie-in fiction?
Yeah.
Right? He's written a ton of books about he's written Star Trek books, he's written Supernatural, he's written, I think, Buffy, so he's doing something for Alien. Matter of fact, this is actually pretty cool. This is where you get like that, being a part of the press sometimes helps out, is when we saw Keith last year at, I think, Kineticon, he told me he was writing an Alien book, but he's like, don't talk to anybody about it. It was supposed to come out in January, but they pushed it back to be closer to the date of the actual 40th anniversary. So he's writing, I guess the first segment of the book from what I read is based on the video game Alien Isolation, which is about Ripley's daughter trying to find out information on her. And then I guess the last couple chapters is all kind of Keith's own stuff and mixing story in. And the other cool thing is if you go to IGN.com, and you can check them out on YouTube too. There are 6 fan films. There's this corporation called, Jesus, I have it here, Tongal, Tongal. They produce videos and they put video. It's almost like crowdsourcing where they take people that write stuff and people that make movies and they kind of, it's like a social media for them to meet and do things. 20th Century Fox put them together with 6 out of, I think there's like 550 submissions of fans that wanted to make Alien shorts. And they picked 6 of them. And they each made like 15-minute long shorts set in the Alien universe. I've watched 3 of them or 4 of them.
Is there one on a pone?
On a pone?
Yeah.
Oh, a pone?
Yeah.
Was any of them done by Neil Blomkamp?
No Blomkamp.
No.
There's one called Alone, one called Containment, one called Harvest, one called Night Shift, one called Ore, one called Specimen. You guys know I'm a huge Alien fan. I've watched, I think, 3 or 4 of these so far, and they're all pretty fucking
sounds
cool.
good. Yeah.
20th Century Fox actually let them use, because like when you're watching it, you're like, that's a fucking face hugger. That's not like some shitty fan-made face hugger. 20th Century Fox teamed up with them and let them use like sets and stuff.
So this was done before the Disney merger, huh?
That was,
or I should say buyout, really.
Yeah, the Disney buyout was just very recently. These came out, I think, in April. And like I said, I've been watching them. I haven't seen all of them. There was
Quick, we
500
gotta finish these before Disney buys us.
Hey, you know what that means, right? The Alien Queen is now a Disney princess. So
Does make sense.
Speaking of Keith DiCandido.
Keith R.A. DiCandido.
He runs a very good blog on tourbooks.com. And if you like reading rewatches of any films or TV shows,
Great rewatch.
Yeah, he did a rewatch of all the Star Trek TV shows. But right now he's been rewatching superhero movies and reviewing them. They're very entertaining.
Old, new,
As of right now, he had watched all the Marvel movies. Endgame is still waiting to come out, but he's doing all of them. So he did all the DC stuff. The last one he did, which I'm so glad he did it. It's Dick Tracy from 70 some odd years ago. It's an old serial.
I saw that on Facebook today.
Yeah, I got to read. I haven't read it yet, but I was so glad he went all the way back. When he did all the Batman movies, he went all the way back to the early serials too. So it's fun stuff.
One of the only times that John's ever embarrassed me in front of comic book people is when he had to admit in front of people he didn't know much about Dick Tracy. You know, because I always lean on John.
We were talking to Joe Staten. Yeah,
Joe Staten, who draws Dick Tracy now.
Yeah,
and I'm always leaning on John. I'm like, man, John's gonna pull something out and impress these fucking people.
I'm surprised he couldn't.
Yeah, and then we're talking about Dick Tracy. And
I don't
John's
know much
like,
about him. I mean,
Dick Tracy is John's kryptonite.
I read him in the newspapers when when there was a strip, but it was so long ago, and honestly, there isn't much I remember. I have a few Dick Tracy,
the big square watch and the big ugly faces. That's about it.
Yeah, it was okay stuff, but it's so much of a throwback. And of course, we're talking to Staten, and I'm like, God, now I really want to read this book. But,
Yeah, because he does like the news strip too.
Yeah,
right?
It's online, and I guess I don't know if it's in the newspapers anymore, but I guess he draws it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, comic strips in the newspapers. Who?
What's a newspaper?
Right, exactly. And they're so small.
Yeah.
They're ridiculously small. I don't know.
All right, John.
Boy, I used to look forward to the Sunday comics.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Except for
Man,
Family
oh,
Circus,
man.
man. I told you.
Yeah.
That book is fun. That
But it was
script is
pages. It's like
fucking
8 pages.
Sunday comics and like 8 pounds of silly putty.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you were happy all day.
Sunday comics, and again, we talked about this before. I used to love to look at the page with the movie ads. I used to love to just look at like.
I used to have ear problems, and
Yeah.
I used to have silly putty plugs in my ears.
What-
I don't know. It's just a weird thing that I was thinking about right now.
like were your parents
that
Like
came
they
out
would
of
make,
nowhere.
they would make you. Well, I mean, I was just thinking about silly putty, and it just popped into my head.
Wow.
Like because I had ear problems when I had to have tubes in my ears and all
Yeah,
that.
Lynn, my wife, had
and they were all
tubes.
like, okay, you got to go take a shower now, and then you have to make plugs out of silly putty and stick them in my ears.
They wouldn't give
Keep
you.
the
They
water.
wouldn't give you like medicine grade shit.
No, I don't. I just
Medicine
I don't know
grade
where this came
shit.
from. I was
No.
little. I
It was
just
little
remember it.
straws.
Yeah, I used to have silly putty and boop right in the ear.
Silly putty, the
Yeah.
weird military accident.
So not not only can you use it to stretch out your Dick Tracy comics,
Wow.
you also can use it to
I was like, where's
pop
he
in your
going?
ears.
Right.
yeah, you got to
Where's he
get
going?
mumbles.
Flathead,
Mumbles.
flat top, huh?
Laptop,
So
prune face.
weird random thought.
But I'll be honest, the most I know about Dick Tracy is the movie, which I've only seen once 30 years ago.
The movie actually is not bad.
The thing I remember about
It's
the movie,
just so over the top.
the thing I remember about the movie when I saw it as a kid, because that came out when I was like probably 15, was that it did look like you were watching a comic.
Yeah.
because the
Bright colors
the colors
and-
were intense.
Yeah,
it was
they're
yellow and red and
crazy.
blue. And then it was like Pacino is the bad guy. There was a
Yeah.
good cast in that.
And
but-
Madonna was in that, right?
Yeah, Madonna, yeah.
because Madonna was
Breathless Mahoney.
she was banging
Warren Beatty,
at the
Warren
time.
Beatty was he had
Warren Beatty was sticking his wick in just about everything.
before he met Annette Bening, right? Because that's what he married, Annette Bening.
Yeah, he married her.
Yeah, she settled him down.
Yeah, well, he knocked her up. She couldn't be. She was supposed to be Catwoman, not Michelle
pretty
Pfeiffer.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
God that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Admittedly, yeah, I don't think I think she's pretty hot, but
No.
back then I think she was pretty hot.
No.
but like Michelle Pfeiffer, yeah.
Oh, no, it's not compared to
Yeah.
her.
Can we name this episode "Silly Putty Earplugs"?
If you would like, if that's what you exactly said, then yes, yes.
I don't remember.
He came up with that earlier today. He's like, I got to
No, I'm gonna
get
get-
this in there.
I'm just thinking "Silly Putty Earplugs" would be a cool title.
Because we were going to bring Silly Putty up in this
Yeah.
episode.
All right, John. Before we go, you read Raymond Feist's new book, right?
If you want to call it new, sure.
Or newish. Why don't you talk about it a little bit?
It's new in paperback. It's been out for a year.
okay.
It came out right after you came on the radio show.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the title? What series is it from? And how long before Lou's going to want to read it?
Lou, you want to borrow it? It's called King of Ashes. It's the first book in a brand new series. These are all new characters, all new world, all new setting. It is a fantasy setting, though. So if you're not
Should have
into
a sticker on it for you, Lou, that says "Great jumping on point."
it is a jumping on point. It's
Number one.
basically a introduction to everything that's going on in this particular setup. So, and if you like Feist, You'll like this book.
I've never read it, Any Feist.
I love it.
But I'm interested.
Yeah, I love his style. So, but the problem is, of course, as I read this book, there are things in it that are very similar to things that I'm developing on
Remember,
my own.
John won't watch Game of Thrones because he's or read or watch Game of Thrones. He doesn't want it to influence his writing.
This is the only guy I'll read for fantasy right now.
Okay.
And when we had him on the show, we were talking about that, why I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Oh,
And
I
he's
remember.
Like, he fully understood. I wish we had gotten that one properly downloaded because it was really good. But he's coming back on very soon. Yeah,
So-
he's working on the second volume right now. So
And what is it, like a 30 book cycle or?
I
know
think
these
I think it's
fantasy
a
guys.
trilogy.
Okay.
This is a trilogy, but he's probably going to do multiple volumes of trilogies. So.
The show will be over before the book.
Lou is studying that like I would study.
Are there
like,
any movies on any
honestly,
of his other
not
stuff?
a thing.
If I didn't have
Nothing.
like a reading pile like a mile long, I would jump on it.
You're looking at that thing like I would look at like the old like when I was a kid and I'd find like a fucking like a penthouse in the woods.
It's been optioned.
You're looking through it like the first time you've seen Bush.
Wow.
Look at him.
You know what I love about fantasy novels, and I think
Maps. Maps is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think Johnson will agree. Just like
Yeah.
all the maps at the beginning. But you know the one thing I honestly wish about all fantasy novels, I wish they would have a pronunciation guide in them.
In
I hate how a lot
the,
of
the
fantasy.
Wheel of Time has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't part of
so
the fun like figuring if you're saying it right or not? Like,
Well, yeah, but see, the thing is like,
to the book.
let's say, for instance, you think you're pronouncing it correctly in your head, and then something happens where you hear that the author
think
pronounce it.
if I remember-
it throws me off.
If I remember right, when we talked about that with him on the show, and he was like, I like people coming up with their own pronunciations of things. Because like I said mid-chemia, and he goes, that's not how I say it, but I don't really care. And I thought that was really cool. You
I
know?
know it's just weird because I just feel like the author, and I mean the author has it in their head. They intended for it to be a way because they say it to themselves
All right,
that way.
right.
I'd like
so
to know what they say.
Let's do an exercise in that. All
right.
All right. So Lloyd, I'm going to spell a word out for you, and it's a region in this book. All right, and I want you to tell me how you would say this word. I know how I would say it, and I'll tell you after. Zindaros.
Zindaros.
Okay, John, how would you say that?
More or less, Zindaros.
See, that's not what he said though. He said Zindaros. You
Yeah,
said Zindaros.
It's just a matter of where you're putting.
See, I would go more Asian and go Jandaros.
Oh, you fucking.
Yeah, the zh in there.
Yeah.
I'm Zindaros. Whoever said Zindaros. That's where
I would
at.
take like an Asian, but see, it's all in context too, because I mean, like, if they describe it as if they
here's a
describe
good
it like
one.
an Asian flair,
I got a
like
good
then you like Jandaros would pop into my head because that's kind of like what the context of that area is.
Here's a kingdom in the So we got South Tembria and North Tembria. Zindaros was in South Tembria. This is in North Tembria. It is Ithrace. How would you say that?
Ithrase?
See, that's what I'm thinking of Thrace, John.
So,
Ithrace.
Or maybe Ithrace,
I mean, it's
but
spelled like
Ithrase, I think.
Ithrace,
Yeah,
but
Ithrace.
Ithrase.
Thrace.
yeah. I just in my head I was just saying Ithrace.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not.
to
I'm
me-
not overly worried about it, considering what happens to it.
I guess to really be Thrace, it would have to
Guess
have
it
like
ain't
a,
there much longer.
Does a Thrace get sacked?
Let's just say that it's the central plot point of the book.
Oh, look at that! I picked out the fucking.
How many characters do we have to know in this book?
3 central characters, and the rest are all tertiary at best.
Okay.
How many are fire elves?
None.
None.
Everyone's
How many?
human.
Oh, there's no like water imps or.
No, these are all human.
You really have a narrow view of fantasy novels.
Also,
I've never read one.
Really?
Never.
You watch Game of Thrones?
Well,
Game of Thrones isn't really fantasy. It's
this is the guy who would like when I would
Medieval
be like
fantasy.
reading. This is the guy who would be reading when I'd be sitting in the break room reading my books on lunch when John and I worked together. Would rip the books out of my hand and then proceed to make fun of me for 5 minutes about them.
I do that to Tony. Silent Tony. A lot of times on his lunch break, will be reading, and I know you'll make fun of him because you hate this character. It was
Drit Stewart.
Drid's.
Fuck that character.
Tony's reading
Fuck that character.
the Cauldron of Drizzt.
I got so close to having that writer come to a convention. So because he was living in Massachusetts at the time, and I honestly I think he still lives up in Boston somewhere or that area, but I just couldn't get him. I just wanted to have him there to have a bunch of line of a bunch of nerds standing around and telling him how great that fucking character is, so I could go up to him and go, I fucking hate that character.
I had Tony.
What's
explain
the
it to me.
hatred? I mean, like
It's a fucking awful character.
He's a dark elf with a stone.
Is he like Ramsey?
With a glass
Ramsey
panther?
Bolton?
No, he's a hero.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a hero
Dressed
character.
as
Here's
hero.
the thing. In D&D, dark elves are the evil elves, all right? This guy decided to turn this one character into the good and happy dark elf. You can't even go out in daylight without burning your fucking skin, you asshole. Then he proceeds to give him a sword called
Such passion.
called Twinkle.
Twinkle. Oh my God.
Oof. Is that his sword's name?
Yes,
that's harsh.
one of them.
Thank you for that. I'll work with Tony tomorrow. I'll make fun of him for that. I know he told me that. I think Tony
Fuck
told me
that
he has
character.
he has a panther that's a crystal or something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
read
like-
2 books.
he has-
I was like, this character is so
Carries
fucking
a
awful.
crystal around him, and when he throws it, it becomes a panther.
That's pretty sweet.
I think he has to say the magical word too. Like
What's the
Alex
best
Fart.
name sword that you
here's
can think of?
Here's the problem with that character. When the book came out, every knob gobbler in the entire world of Dungeons and Dragons
That's my
decided
sword, knob
they
gobbler.
all had to have a dark elf hero character in the damn campaign. Not my fucking game, you're not.
Oh, you're a restrictive dungeon master.
Fucking A, I am.
If I ever play in your game, I'm getting my dark elf character in there.
Oh, yeah, he'll be
You
dead
mark
in
that.
5 minutes.
You mark that with my words.
He'll
All
be
right,
dead in
so
5 minutes because someone else in the party will kill you.
you guys have anything else you want to add to this episode?
Wow.
Raymond Feist, King of Ashes, very good book. Very
All
good
right.
book. If you like Feist, you like fantasy, it's a good setup.
How long is that, the paperback? How many pages?
Let's guess. I'm looking at it. I'm going to say that's 497 pages.
I'm going to say 521.
Lou?
537.
This is like Price is Right shit.
What'd you say?
497.
494.
Holy fuck, we're ending right now. See ya. I was right, they were wrong.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.